As a business person or a business lady who is seasoned in terms of flying to different countries to source my merchandise, I decided to come with at least 14 points. Can you imagine? Of the things that you're supposed to know before you think of flying to any country for business. It's one thing to dream to fly to China to go pick your merchandise, and it's another thing for you to successfully do it. Never forget and don't forget that there are so many people that fly to these countries and end up losing so much money, end up getting really frustrated. So stick around and watch the whole video because I have a lot in store for you. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you can always get, a notification once I upload something, and also leave a comment down below. Let me know how you think about the whole thing. Point number one, get yourself a very detailed itinerary. There is no way you're going to fly to a country for 20 days and you don't have a clear plan and calculated move of how you're going to spend each and every day. Now, there's something about flying to a country for business trip, mainly China. You don't know how the days fly. You cannot even explain. So please have a very clear itinerary of day one. I'm supposed to achieve this. These are the objectives. These are the goals. This is a market that I'm supposed to visit. Day 5, I'm supposed to buy some merchandise. Day 6, I'm supposed to ship the things to to my original country. Just have a very detailed itinerary, subject to changes because something can change along the way. Probably you flew to a country and maybe they just had a one-day holiday, so you end up not doing anything during that day, so you have to change your itinerary. Or maybe you end up into a certain market, you get a lot of interest in it, and decide to even spend more time in that specific market than the others. So get yourself a very detailed itinerary. Another key thing is get to know if there is any holiday that will be happening during the time that you will be in that country. There are countries that take holidays so seriously. They close everything down. They send their employees back at home to rest as they celebrate their holiday. And after that, if there is any holiday that is coming up, please get to know whether it's a minor holiday or a major holiday. A minor holiday, they do set their employees at the factories free, but there's someone who will be at the factory outlet to handle your case. So they won't close their factory outlet, but they are going to, is it factory outlet? The place where the clients are supposed to come in easily instead of going down to wherever their factory is. I hope you can get it. So that is a minor. But when it comes to a major holiday, they close everything down. Mainly China, they are big when it comes to their celebrations. Get to know how their schedule is in terms of their celebration. That was point number 2. Let's go to point number 3. You can never fly to a country if you don't have a freight forwarder from that specific country. Example, in China, you must get yourself an agent that will be taking care of your goods in terms of shipping them. If you're loading a container, who is supposed to take care of the customs, is supposed to take care of the booking of the containers and all that. You must get a shipping agent, stroke the freight forwarder, before you get yourself into any flight headed to a place for business. Now, the problem of not getting yourself a good one before you fly is you're prone to getting scammers. It happened to me. I remember there's a time, I think it was in the year 2016, I had an order where I was supposed to supply a new hospital with hospital equipments. And what I did in my naivety, I just took a flight, went to China, bought the items and all that in a specific factory that I got on Alibaba. Now, the issue was I didn't have a freight forwarder. I didn't have someone to advise me on what is needed, even in terms of documentation. What documents are needed in China that will help me to clear the goods once they are in my country? Are the goods certified? Are they of good quality? I mean, there was so much. And what happened? I ended up falling into a scam, let me call it so. I had the goods loaded in the country, shipped to our country, not to our country actually, to a neighboring country. And then the issue was, as I was trying to transport them now from the neighboring country to my country, they never had the right documents. So the customs would always ask me, were your goods done this? Where is the certificates? Were your goods done this? Where is the certificate? Where is the permit? I never had any of them. And I remember I almost lost that whole cargo. Can you imagine? I almost lost that whole cargo. I had to go an extra mile of, going to the cabinet secretary of trade and argue my case and allow to have some of the things done in my country for that specific cargo. That was the most stressful time in my entire life of doing business. So be very cautious. Don't make the same mistake as I did. If you don't have a clearing agent, a freight forwarder whom you can work with in China, you can always contact me or join our masterclass. I'll be sharing the details of the masterclass on the description box, and you can get all these network to work with from any part of the country that you're in or the world that you're in. Doesn't matter whether you're shipping to the US, to Europe, to the Caribbean, will be sorted. Now, the other key thing is booking of a hotel. This is vital. You like it or you don't like it, you must book your hotel prior your travel. I mean, a hotel may determine how effective your business trip will be. How do you go about it? First thing first. Again, don't make the same mistake that I did. Go to bookings.com and look for a hotel. But this is a key thing. Look for a hotel that is near. Look for a hotel that is near a metro station or a subway station. You'll be using a subway station to move from one place to another. It is the most effective way to move from one point to another. So don't go look for a hotel that it is 20 kilometers from the subway station. That might cost you a lot of money every day because taxis can be very expensive to move to a market. So the secret is look for a hotel that is near a subway station. At least 1 kilometer. You can always walk 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer away or less to the subway station, so that you can be able to effectively maneuver from one market to another with no fear, knowing that even if you're late in a market all the way until 9 p.m., you just take a subway and within no time you'll be at your hotel place. Okay? Now, there's a thing and the tendency of, being dependent on a person who is in that country and asking them to look for a hotel for you. I wouldn't advise because I've ever done so, and I ended up knowing that a hotel that was going for maybe $40 per night, they ended up conversing or getting, I don't know into what conversation with the hotel management, and I was charged $90 per night. Can you imagine? A hotel that is charging $40, I ended up being charged $90. Sometimes as a tourist or a business person, sometimes you may get, people might take advantage of you. So if someone has to get you a hotel, it must be a cheaper price and rate than, or the same rate and the same price, like the same way that it is on the site, that is the bookings.com or any other site that you can be able to book your hotel. So be very cautious. Be a person who can be able to do things for themselves. Don't rely so much on someone else. Mostly when you're doing a business trip, can you do it for yourself? It is going to save you so much. Let's go to point number Let's do the point number 5, which is the most important thing. Once you fly for a business trip into a specific country, please stick to your itinerary. If not so, if there is any adjustments, do them because you chose to do them yourself. Please don't fall into the influence of the people that you're going to find there. Mostly people of your own color, people of your own language. Don't forget that. Let me give an example with China. There are so many people from your own country that they are in China to, doing nothing major, literally. They're just looking for you who is there, who is coming for business, and they're just going to take advantage of you. They're going to exploit you in a way that you can't even imagine. Even when you're looking for a hotel, please don't get the referrals of, that hotel. I need a hotel that I can be able to see my fellow black people. I want a hotel that I can be able. No, just go there with your itinerary, with your God, and you with your prayers, and with all the knowledge that you've put in place, and put into practice everything. Please don't go there and start finding people on the streets and engaging them and telling them, oh, show me, oh, do this. Oh, it has ever happened to me. I mean, I always tell people as I teach them how to do imports that there is no mistake that you'll ever do in business that I've never done. You're going to be taken advantage of. You're going to lose so much. Just know, and again, I say, there are so many people that are just looking for you, that you have the money, that you've gone to that country to shop, including the natives, all right? You could be buying your stocks from just someone who has a retailer, and you think that it is very cheap, and they have convinced you, and you've come to understand or to know and to believe that that is the major source, not knowing that they are selling to you the item maybe ×2 or ×3 of how it's supposed to be sold from the factory, and you're still in China. That is why you find so many people fly to China and end up losing so much. Some people don't even want to hear anything to do with China. Be very cautious. Now, this is the major mistake that most people do. Point number 6, getting an interpreter. Yes, or getting a tour guide. Actually, most factories and most suppliers don't like interpreters when you tag along. They don't like it when you tag along a tour guide, because in the process of interpreting everything to you and the bargaining, they put some amount for themselves in anything that you're going to buy. Be very cautious, because I see this all the time. I mean, please be very, very careful. The moment you get yourself a tour guide, they're going to manipulate you in a way that you cannot imagine. Anytime you go to a factory, you're trying to bargain something and it's not going down, they have a fixed price, and sometimes they're going to force you to buy, and they are very aggressive. It's because they already have a cut, a commission in every item that you're buying, Now, it has ever happened to me one time that I had not an interpreter, but a tour guide. I just wanted a tour guide to take me to one market that I really wanted to know wherever it is. And when we were talking about a specific type of furnitures, because I do a lot of furnitures, the two Chinese, the tour guide and the seller, started arguing and raising their voices. And at some point, the seller told me, this one is telling me to sell to you at this amount, and this is not how we sell this commodity. So they were arguing. So you can imagine the shame that got that specific person. So be very careful. And if you have to get a tour guide, this is how you're supposed to do. Allow them to take you to the markets that you want them to take you, maybe for a day. Go to different markets and make sure you exhaust that day. Don't just stay around in one market. No. Visit a market. If it's the furniture market, get yourself a few business cards, then go to another and go to another. Don't purchase anything. Don't even sit down to assume that you're purchasing anything. Just tell them that you just wanted to see. Then after going around to the markets and seeing, be like, hey, bye-bye, and thank you for the work, and pay them. Then the following day, take yourself to those markets. You yourself alone now. With the help of those business cards, you can take even a taxi. Just go to that market or engage in a conversation with a supplier, whom either of them you got their contacts on the business cards, and tell them to give you the metro station near their market. Then go. Then once you go by yourself alone, now go round and round and round and round and see for yourself, cover the market, and now you can buy your items without the interference of anyone. Actually, avoid buying from the suppliers that you visited with your tour guide earlier. Okay? Be very careful, be wise. Most of the time, we get money loans from the bank so that we can be able to fly to these countries. Sometimes we have taken every coin in our business to fly to these countries. So you don't want to misuse each and every coin. All right? So that's a tip that I'm sharing with you. Point number 7. If possible, get yourself the mobile transfer kind of an app. Like in China, we have Alipay. The first thing that you're supposed to do once you get to China, register on Alipay. So that all the money that you change, put it on Alipay. You can be able to do it. It is not complicated. Imagine, it isn't complicated as most of us think. So get yourself an Alipay, and this will help you to use Alipay to make any payment. Even if you're booking a taxi, you're going to use the app because you can be able to book a taxi with the app. You're going to book a taxi with the app. You're going to pay everything with the app. Avoid using their cash. Example, in China, we have a lot of fake money moving around. Did you know that? Yes, we have a lot of money that is fake that is moving around. To be on the safe side, just use Alipay so that you might not carry a lot of cash every time. So I noted the difference between me carrying cash and using cash around, and even using Alipay. When I'm using Alipay, I'm more accountable of how I used each and every coin. When I use the cash, I just spend without even having an accountability of how I used the money. Another thing is the taxis. The taxis. Can you get an app that you can be able to use to book a taxi when you're going to that country, instead of using the normal ones? Like, let me give an example. In China, we have the yellow taxis, the red taxis. Instead of using that, can you download Alipay and always book a taxi using the Alipay? It's like Uber. It's another version of Uber or Bolt. It is going to save you so much, and in case you even left something inside that taxi when you were leaving, you can be able to locate them easily. It's a safer way. Let me put it like that. It's a very safe way of doing your thing. Now, there are countries that won't allow you to use the dollars. We use dollars most of the times when we are flying to countries to buy our merchandise. Again, let me use China because China is the biggest market in this world where you can be able to get everything and anything that you need. And it's one of the places that I love flying. And by the way, before I proceed, we are having a group business trip to China. Can you imagine? That is in the month of March 2025. Registrations are going on. People have really registered. The deadline for the registration is December 30th, 2025. You can write to us or check this poster and make your registrations. We'll be flying. It will be our 5th business trip to China since I started flying groups to China from all over the world. We fly people from the US, we fly people from Australia, the Caribbean, Canada, any part of this world, West Africa. So just come, and I'll teach you how to do this even way better as we explore different types of markets with their own benefits as you shop, as you load your own container. So see you in my email as you make your registrations or as you inquire for the business trip. Now let's go to point number 8. There are countries like China that won't allow you to, or it won't be convenient for you to use the dollar. You have to change your dollars to their local currency, that is RMB. Be extremely cautious as you change your money. Again, be extremely cautious as you change your money. You can get fake money. Be very cautious. If possible, as you change your money, tell them to send the money to you in your Alipay so that you might not end up using, carrying the cash. Point number 9, I talked about taxes already. I think I'd already mentioned it somewhere. Avoid using the yellow or red taxis unless if you really need to, or maybe if you're stranded, because you can always show them the business card to the place that you're going or the hotel if you're lost somewhere, and they'll take you to the hotel. But the best thing is you're supposed to use Alipay to get yourself an Uber. Let me call it that, an Uber. It is very convenient. It's not as expensive as the red and the yellow taxis, and you're going to be able to save a coin. Another thing that I would want to mention is, as you fly for your business trip, can you learn and teach yourself how to use their subway stations? It may seem to be a bit complicated, but you can be able to do it. You can be able to do it. Can you just ask your supplier what is the metro station or the subway station near your market and what is the exit? Then get to the metro station near you. Please go ask them how to navigate to the place that you want to go. Once you successfully use that metro once only, then the second time you're not going to lose a lot of direction. The third time you won't be an amateur. You'll be a pro. I'm telling you that for sure. This is going to save you so much. In your trip of, let me give an example of 2 weeks where you could have used $2,000 on transport using taxi from one place to another. You end up using very little if you're going to use the subway station, maybe $300. So the difference is very big. Very, very big. A trip that can cost you by taxi $80 by using the subway, it might cost you at least $2 or $3. So actually, most of the natives use that thing. You'll always find them in the metro stations, using it to move from one place to another. Let's talk about food. Point number 10. Food is a key thing. As you think of flying to a specific country, what are your eating habits? How do you, what are your eating habits? Sometimes you have to adjust before you even fly to a certain country. Let me give an example with China. You get too busy that you cannot be able to take yourself 3 meals in a day. Then that will be pure waste of time and resources. You cannot, when you're in a business trip to China, be able to be looking for a hotel in every market to sit for a whole hour to eat. That will be pure waste time and resources. You take 1 meal a day, you're good to go. Remember, these markets are very huge. And when I talk of huge, I mean extremely huge. You can walk in one market. One market can have 20,000, 10,000 factory outlets. And maybe there is no hotel in that place. Can you imagine leaving the place because it's lunchtime so that you can go look for somewhere you can be able to fit? Sometimes you need to adjust. You need to adjust. So prepare to take yourself 1 meal in a day. It's always in the evening, not during the day, because they are, you'll spend the whole day in the market. Then you will take your break in the evening before you go to your hotel to just take yourself a good meal. And as you look for a place that you can be able to take a meal, you can look, if you're into halal type of food. You can always go to Google, or you can always, yeah, Google, it's okay, or you can go to any app that you can use to check the, you know, the locations, and look for an Arabic or a Turkish restaurants. Arabic or a Turkish restaurant, or just a Muslim restaurant. You can always ask even your supplier, where can I get a Muslim restaurant? So that you can be able to get the type of meals that you are imagining that you'd want to see. Now, because we have, every country has its own way of eating. Do the Chinese restaurants serve bad food? No, but I'm speaking about the Muslim or the Arabic and Turkish restaurants for the people that precisely eat halal food, all right? When it comes to the Chinese restaurants, they have very sweet food, the diversity of what they can eat, and you know, the type of meals is just immense. For the people that love seafood, it's a heaven, a small heaven for you. You find a lot of seafood, and it's very, very affordable. I would also urge you to try to eat some Chinese meals. You note how different they are with our meals. You'll actually understand why everyone, almost everyone, 95%, everyone is fit. Everyone is looking good, everyone is fit, everyone is, you wonder, is in good shape. Mostly it's because of the type of meals that they take. You're supposed to try their meals and you'll never go back. They are very sweet, very good. Their disciplines are on another level, so it's not something that you should fear trying. That is, if you're strictly not into halal food. And also, the Chinese restaurant will sell to you halal food also. You can get the beef, you can get the chicken. Oh yeah. Let's go to point number 11. Point number 11. Now, at this point, let's go to point number Ganyamazeni. Na wacha kukuja huku. Now, let's go to point number 11. Now, you are there, you're ready to purchase your items, you've explored the market. And by the way, don't do your purchases on your first day, second day, third day. Do your purchases in your purchase. Now, you are at this point where you're ready to purchase your items, and that is what I'm addressing in point number 11. What are you supposed to do? And by the way, do you purchase your items during the, you in your first day, second day? No. No matter how wild you would be by just looking at a thing and you're asking them, how much is it? And they give you a price and you're like, oh my gosh. And then this thing is expensive. And don't be tempted to buy during your first day, second day. Take your time to explore. Take your time to see the markets. It's cheaper there. It's cheaper there. So don't be in a rush to buy now or here. So now once you're set and ready, please can you agree on the delivery time with your supplier? Now, if you don't seem to have any rush when it comes to getting your goods at the warehouse, your supplier will be tempted to take care of other people who are in a rush because they get so many orders all the time. So be very specific on the time frame and the dates that your goods will be taken to the warehouse. If it is 3 days, let it be strictly 3 days, unless something happens, so they're going to deliver on the 4th day. Now, if you don't agree on a time frame, it can take even 3 months for that supplier to deliver the goods to the warehouse. Can you imagine? It can take all that time to deliver the goods to the warehouse. So be very careful on times and dates when your goods are supposed to be delivered. Another key thing that you're supposed to be cautious about is to ask the supplier to observe the packaging standards. Now, for the Chinese suppliers, they have no problem with how they package their items. Actually, most of them are so good when it comes to packing the items. They observe the international shipping packaging standards. But it's always good for you to to remind them they are supposed to pack the goods very, very well. Another thing is supposed to be when it comes to payments. I mentioned that if possible, make all your payments via Alipay or just another mode that can be, traceable. But if you're using cash, get yourself a receipt or a kind of an invoice before you make the payments and after making the payments. Now, point number 12. You see, we are still proceeding. By the way, have you subscribed? Have you turned on the notification bell? If you haven't, please do and write a comment down below. Let me know how you're feeling about all these points and what would you want me to address. Other point, that is point number 12, is that all your deliveries are supposed to be taken to the warehouse. Remember the point that I told you that you must get a shipping agent before flying to China? Now, all your shipping agent should give you a warehouse address where your goods are supposed to go. So that means every cargo that you purchase is supposed to go straight to the warehouse, not to your hotel. A mistake that happens most of the time. I mean, you might find a delivery, a whole lorry that is outside the hotel. You might end up losing some of the cargo, and again it is going to cost you another extra cash and maybe a lot of money not to take the goods from your hotel to the warehouse. So all your goods should come from your supplier straight to the warehouse. You'll go later to inspect them at the warehouse. I mean, that is very professional. That is one of the ways that a supplier knows that they are not dealing with an amateur. They know that this one is a person who knows whatever they are doing. Having an agent and having an address where your goods are supposed to go means a lot in the face of your supplier or your factory. Another thing is, before the goods have been delivered to the warehouse, ask your supplier to share with you the pictures of your goods. Please keep a clear accountability. Get enough files to support you in case of anything. So always ask your supplier before you deliver, send these goods, send a picture of the goods, even a video. Send me a video of the cargo. Yeah, you need to have it on your WhatsApp. Last but not the least, and that is point number 14, be careful. Be very careful. Anytime you are in a country, even as a tourist, one of the key things that you're supposed to do as a tourist is to be extremely cautious, right? Just be careful. You know the way you'd plan to tour a specific country, and one of the things that you're supposed to be extremely cautious about is your safety and everything. Be extremely cautious when you're doing yourself a business trip. Remember, there's a point I talked about. There are people in those countries that are always looking for you, the person that you're trying to do it foolishly, to take advantage of you. You might and you can lose everything in the name of you had gone to a country to buy some merchandise. And as I speak this, I know so many that this has happened to them. If you're a lady, this is not the perfect time to entertain, and a single lady, it's not the perfect time to entertain all the men in the streets who are speaking to you in different dialects, okay? If you're a man, this is a time to be even extra cautious. If you like partying and all that, this is not the time to do it. Be extremely cautious to not fall into scams. You can be taken advantage of. You can lose so much. You can lose so much, even $1,000 to just, weird activities. Apologies, my dog's there. So be very, very cautious. And as I speak of that, even the people of your color are even the worst. People that even speak your language are even the worst. I'm a Kenyan. Just because you got a Kenyan actually speaking your language doesn't mean that you're safe. Probably that will be the beginning of your sorrows. So be very, very cautious. Observe this. Join me on 31st of October in our upcoming Imports Conference. It's happening in Nairobi, Westlands. Looking forward to see you there. And for the people that are out of the country, join us in our Zoom meeting that will be happening in the first weekend of the month of November. Make your registrations. We are going to have a beautiful Zoom meeting as we learn how to do business and all that. Looking forward to see you soon again as you register for the upcoming business trip to China. This year alone, we have done 3 business trips to China. Very, very successful. The first one was in the month of March. The second one was in the month of May, June. The third one, we just came in. It was in the month of September. And now we are having our next business trip in the month of March 2025. It's always an exciting trip. We get to exhaust everything. If you don't walk a lot, start exercising now, because it entails a lot of walking and a lot of work. You get extremely tired, but at the end of it all, at the end of the trip, you have a market for everything that you would need to import or to get yourself into. See you, and please don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear, driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair,